For the past 14 years, I've been helping volleyball players jump higher, and one of the tools that we utilize is plyometrics. Now, everyone's heard about plyometric exercise, but I think very few people are actually utilizing it strategically so that you can make big vertical improvements, but also do it safely. So the first thing that we need to understand is there's 4 different types of plyometric exercise. The first type of plyometric exercise is called extensive plyometrics. Now, this is sub-maximal jumping where we're focusing on quick ground contact times. Now, this is easy to go from easier, more basic variations to more advanced variations. Now, the purpose of doing this is a few things. One, it helps build more capacity at our foot, ankle, kind of complex there, that whole area, and that area needs to tolerate a lot of stress, a lot of landing stress, a lot of jumping stress, so that area needs to tolerate a lot. The other thing, the quick ground contact times helps us train our stretch shortening cycle, which could maybe help us get off the ground a little bit faster when we're jumping. Now, the second type of plyometric exercise is called intensive plyometrics. Now, this is intensive jumping, so high effort, high intensity, quick ground contact times. And once again, this is something you can easily progress from more basic to much more advanced. And you want to be very mindful when you're doing these types of exercise to be doing it strategically, right? The third type of plyometric exercise actually isn't a plyometric exercise at all. It's called long ground contact time jumping. So for something to be plyometric, it has to utilize your stretch shortening cycle or focus on getting off the ground really quick. But for these, you're on the ground for longer and you exert more power. So if I'm a blocker and I'm in a static position and I explode up into a block, that was all power. So these long ground contact time jumping can be great for enhancing your power output. Fourth type of plyometric exercise is volleyball specific plyometrics. Now, what this utilizes both, doing something that's more related to like our approach jump or our block jump, something that's more specific, right? So not only is it helping us utilize, get off the ground quicker and utilize our attribute, but it could also help us enhance our movement patterns. When your movement pattern and also your physical attributes both improve, that's when results are much more significant. Now, when adding plyometrics into your training, you want to first look at, am I in season or I'm in the off season? When you are in season, you're already doing a ton of jumping. So you don't want to add a ton of jumping to your training, but what you want to do is sprinkle a little bit of it into your workouts. Now, when you're in your off season, you can do plyometrics more frequently. Now, when doing plyometric exercise, it's best to rest longer between sets and get more maximal effort repetitions versus resting very little, being fatigued and just getting a bunch of sloppy repetitions. So when it comes to plyometrics, higher quality is much better than doing a lot of fatigued reps, right? So you don't need to do a single workout where you're doing like 40 minutes of plyometrics. If you're doing a plyometric workout, you could keep it like 10 to 15 minutes. It doesn't need to be super long. Another really important thing to consider is when you're doing plyometrics, you can choose plyometric exercise from each of the 4 categories. But if you haven't been training for a while or you're newer to plyometrics, you want to start out with easier variations or variations that's less intensive, and then gradually over time build up the intensity of plyometrics as your body adapts to it. So you don't want to just immediately start by doing the hardest possible plyometric exercise that you can find. You want to do it much more strategically. Anyways, I hope this video was valuable to you. Make sure to subscribe below so that you can check out my future content. And if you're someone that's looking to train with me one-on-one online, I help volleyball players jump higher and gain strength intelligently by training smarter instead of just harder. I essentially personalize your training so you're training the most optimal way based on how much volleyball you're playing and your goals. And if you want to learn more about this program, it's called the Vert Strength Program. Just click below, look below, there'll be a link somewhere. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm out.